Welcome back to BKTV Live. We hope everyone had a great Halloween break. We have a great show for you today.
That's right, Caden. Today is Thursday, November 4th. And on this episode of BKTV Live, we have coverage of the upcoming school play, 5-minute fails, the recent computer chip shortage,
the evolution of the LMC, the Weingarten prison camps, and lastly, a new episode of What's Cooking. All this on BKTV Live. Hey Ari, are you going to go to the school play, 12 Angry Jurors?
You know, I might. What's it about?
12 Angry Jurors.
Oh. Let's go to Jace for more info on how the Theta Guild has been preparing.
2 is then going to cross towards 8, as you can see. So basically,
this year's fall play, 12 Angry Jurors, will be held on November 11th, 12th, and 13th. I interviewed Miss Mays Nielsen, the play director, for more information on what the play will be about.
it is about 12 Angry Jurors. Technically, it's if you're familiar with the movie 12 Angry Men from the 50s, and I think there was another one done in the 70s or something like that. It is about these jurors that deliberate on the case, a murder trial. This 19-year-old kid is accused of killing his father. I think people should watch this play, not only because the kids did a great job with it, or they're doing a great job with it, but also just because I think some of the topics are still relevant. You know, we still, the basis of the story is what value does a life have? And that's exactly what they're trying to decide here. And whether or not this kid is guilty, I think is still relevant to today. Sometimes, you know, younger folks and even adults make mistakes.
I asked a few students if they were interested in going to the play.
I'm planning on going to it. Hopefully, I'm going to keep my high expectations, you know, not super high, but you know what, I'm just going to be an open-minded person about it. I don't really know what to expect. It's going to be my first time really ever going to one, and I haven't really seen a play besides for maybe on movies and shows, but we'll just see how it goes.
Yes, I'll try my best to attend. It seems pretty cool.
The play will be held at Truman Auditorium, and it is open to all students. You can get tickets at the door the night of the show or from Miss Mays Nielsen. They are only $5 a piece. We hope to see you there.
Thanks, Jace. I'm excited to see how the school play is being put together.
Me too. Speaking of putting things together, up next we have Sam, Trent, and Colin trying to put together some 5-minute crafts.
You could not have transitioned that one worse. Good job, buddy.
Just play the segment.
Welcome to 5-Minute Fails, where it's actually in 2 minutes. I'm Sam Knight.
And I'm Trey Galinsky, and today we'll be watching a 5-minute crafts video and remaking it and possibly failing at it. Let's get into it. Okay, so if I'm trying to reach something, I would just get a stool. But
or just be taller.
I wish that was possible for all of us. But now we're gonna ruin a perfectly good flip-flop. Yeah.
4 good flip-flops.
4 good flip-flops. And now...
Oh no, I can't count 5. 5 flip-flops.
Now you can reach it, but you could have solved it with just a stool. Okay.
Thanks, Past Sam and Trent. We're sitting here in the pouring rain.
And because Walmart didn't have any flip-flops, we're nailing a slip-on to a 2x4. So, Let's get into it.
It's not getting any better. Trent, I actually learned this technique from Master Oogway, alright? Skadoosh.
Okay, after that, it's time to make some movie magic of my own and assemble the drip. It is done now. The drip has been assembled.
2 hours later.
I can't reach my flaming hot funyuns. It's time to put on the drip. Jeez, oh, this is so scuffed. It's getting dark and I need to get those hot funyuns. Let's go.
Bro.
You
didn't need those. What is that?
It's my drip.
This is one of my masterpieces.
It fails, but it's actually in 2 minutes.
Thanks, guys. So, Ari, have you noticed that there are like no computer chips?
You know what? I haven't, but I have noticed that our scriptwriters are completely creatively bankrupt. Guys, 2 adverbs back to back. What are we doing here? ELA2, guys.
Anyway, let's go to Richard Skinner to tell us more about that computer chip shortage.
This is a computer chip. While it can be used for just computers, it can also be used in a handful of electronics. It is used for cars so we can park automatically, smartphones for entertainment and work, consoles so we can play video games, and mechanical equipment like the electrocardiogram. But right now the demand for chips is so high that it caused a shortage that it's taken the technology and the automotive industry by storm, and in the worst way. The shortage is caused by 3 reasons. One reason is the pandemic, which shut down a lot of factories, a drought in Taiwan, which a lot of factories used water to clean the factories and the wafers, and the U.S.-China trade war, which the U.S. placed restrictions on Semiconductor Manufacturing International Corporation, which made it harder for them to sell to companies with American ties. The shortage is expected to last until 2022 or 2023 unless something can be done about the shortage. Mr. White has more information about the crisis and how it affected our school in this interview. So, how did the computer chip storage affect the world as we know it?
The shortage obviously affects everyone worldwide, and especially in the education industry for like Chromebooks, TVs, Promethean boards, anything we use that's electronic. It's being delayed 6 to 9 months at least. And that's just the chip shortage, but we also have the shipping shortage that goes on top of it.
How are the people taking steps to survive the chip shortage?
Well, you know, we're trying to keep what we have going currently. So like if we have about 50 Promethean boards been on order for about 4 or 5 months. So to keep going with that, we have to keep our current projectors and current TVs up and running as long as possible, whether we have to do break fixes with them or, you know, just try to find some other way around it. We want to try to use it. And as far as Chromebook goes, we've been lucky. I order at least 4 or 5 months ahead of time that I normally order. So our Chromebooks have been getting in when we need them, but not as quickly as we want them.
What is the cause of the chip shortage?
A lot of it is due to the pandemic, obviously. There's a lot of labor issues. Most chips come from Taiwan or Japan, and there's been numerous, you know, labor shortages, labor outages, just shipping issues, big time, because materials come into those countries and shipping has been delayed. Just don't have enough workers for that. So.
Why is this school affected because of the shortage?
So we have lots of different things that have been affected because of it. Chromebooks we're having to order early, earlier than normal, which means we have to plan that budgetary numbers way ahead of time instead of when we usually want to spend it. And then we, you know, as far as laptops and computers, we have a bunch of computers that we ordered back in May, and we're just now receiving them. We was hoping to get those out and replaced in the staff during the summertime, but we won't be able to. So that's caused a little delay from our part, and it causes some disruption, but we're trying our best to mitigate that disruption.
With the current situation in the technology industry, will we take action to strengthen the supply chain of the computer chips and bring it back to pre-2020 levels? The answer lies between the hands of world leaders, the technology industry, and the automotive industry themselves. Reporting for BKTV News, I'm Richard Skinner.
Thanks for the info, Richard.
Next up, we have the evolution of the LMC.
The what?
The Library Media Center, Ari.
Wouldn't it be easier to just say the library?
It's so much more than just the library. Let's go to Raleigh to learn more about that.
If you walked into a library today, you probably wouldn't expect a room filled with computers, Legos, coding robots, and more. What you may not know is that younger students have a place in the library called a makerspace. I have a couple librarians from our district to give me some more information on makerspaces.
Well, in an elementary setting, it's going to be a little different than it is in a high school setting. You know, we're still in half of the students here in a building 1st through 4th grade learning to read. And so books are still the cornerstone of allowing free choice for kids to take home and practice reading. We also have some book clubs here, but over time we have enhanced and incorporated some makerspace activities that allow kids time to create and problem solve. There's just no substitute for hitting the ground running and learning to read when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and trying to inspire that love of reading. I like it that kids can problem solve and work together and create things, but I think that is something that possibly they're doing in other venues as well. So I love it that our kids come every week and they have time to share read-alouds and books. The first Makerspace of the year I did with 1st grade, we read This Is Not a Stick. And throughout the book, this little pig, he pretends it's a sword, he pretends it's a baton, he pretends that it's a barbell, and all of these things. And then the students, create their own paper with the stick and then design something. Last year we had a limited segment, like a half an hour every 2 weeks, just dedicated to Makerspace. And this year we're allowed the flexibility to just incorporate it as we want.
Today you can find things such as building blocks, Legos, digital formats and computers and things that weren't around back then. Now we have a makerspace in the library and a lot more technology. The makerspace is used as a station in library time. After we do our lesson in our book, they can go create something or design something that they choose. Sometimes the challenge goes with our book, sometimes it does not. I do have a group that meets in the afternoons from about 2:30 to 2:50, and that extra makerspace time is like an incentive for some of those kiddos who need like an extra reward or something that helps them out throughout the day.
Okay, Library Media Center. I get it now. Thanks, Roland.
Next up, we have Chris Link and his segment on the Weingarten prison camps. Did you know we had prison camps here?
I did. Check it out.
Even though there's a lot of information about Farmington, Missouri and the area that surrounds it, there's a place that many people of this area don't know about. What's surprising is that this place was involved in one of the biggest historical events of the past 100 years, and nothing remains of it. In a small community named Weingarten, Missouri, that's 15 miles northeast of Farmington, there are empty farm fields that once contained an Italian prisoner of war camp during World War II. Towards a turning point in favor of the Allies in World War II, the United States began accepting large amounts of enemy POWs from their European allies. The United States War Department began dedicating lots of time and money to meet the needs of this new challenge. After the government seized land from the area's local farms, the construction process of the camp began. Many construction companies began putting in bids for a contract to construct the camp. On November 4th, 1942, the Weingarten prison camp was officially activated. Soon after, servicemen began arriving to work at the camp. Half a year later, on May 7th, 1943, the first prisoners arrived. The prisoners consisted of black shirts from Mussolini's Secret Service, which were highly trained, top-notch soldiers. The black shirts were joined by other members of the Italian army as time passed. After enduring brutal conditions on the battlefield, the Italian soldiers were very satisfied with their new way of life. The conditions of the camp were excellent. The prisoners were fed well, and the camp's restrooms had modern conveniences. Prisoners were able to kill time by performing jobs. Some of these jobs included working at the camp's hospital, working at a nearby quarry, and improving the camp through construction and other odds and ends. They would also assist the surrounding towns of the camp when they needed help with things such as flooding. Workers of the camp were able to get along well with the prisoners. Even though many of them did not share the same language, they were able to show kindness and gratitude towards each other. Servicemen of the camp were able to connect with the surrounding community. When a serviceman had a weekend's leave, he was able to go to the surrounding towns for a break from the camp. Many servicemen were also able to find companions. 25 relationships between servicemen and women of the surrounding area turned into marriages. Servicemen were also able to keep busy in other ways. Their schedules were filled with tennis matches, basketball games, dances, and movies. They also had an arts and crafts shop where they made wallets, footlockers, sculptures, and many other things. In August of 1943, a club was established for the servicemen to socialize. The club also had food and drinks for the servicemen. Prisoners of the camp also had almost every form of entertainment mentioned above. They also had the opportunity to advance their education. Basic elementary school classes were taught at the beginning, as well as classes of the arts. Eventually, the camp was able to offer more advanced classes such as calculus, electricity, physics, etc. Religion was also a big part of the camp society. Initially, Catholic chaplains from the surrounding area came to the camp to give many sessions of Mass to the prisoners and servicemen. Over time, the camp began having Protestant ministers come and speak. Some ministers even came in from places that were very distant, such as Atlanta. Even while living decently, the prisoners still had worries. Some prisoners were worried about their family's safety back home, while others dreaded leaving the camp. Even though these thoughts may have occurred, the prisoners left the camp for their uncertainties of their war-torn country, and many of them never returned to the U.S. again.
Thank you so much, Chris, for that interesting insight.
Lastly, we have a new episode of the fan favorite series, What's Cooking?
This time, Sam and Chris have a kind of complicated recipe, so let's see if they can pull it off.
What's up, gamers? Welcome back to another episode of What's Cooking, where today we're going to be making ratatouille from your favorite movie, Cars.
It's not from Cars, it's from Ratatouille.
Yeah. But first, let's get some input from the students. Robbie, what's your favorite vegetable?
Broccoli.
Cool. What's your favorite kind of vegetable?
Oh, let's go with potatoes.
Potatoes. Good answer. What's your favorite kind of vegetable? Green beans. What is your favorite kind of vegetable? Bears.
Yellow bears. Yeah, you feel I like some tomatoes. I like cucumbers too.
Tomatoes. Good answer. What's your favorite kind of vegetable?
Oh, hell.
You believe this guy?
Michael Jackson, what's your favorite kind of vegetable?
I'm going onion.
Onion. That's a new one. What's your favorite kind of vegetable?
Not tomato, because it's not a vegetable.
That's true.
I love you, Chris.
What's your favorite kind of vegetable?
She's vegetable, or I do like me some corn. I love me some corn.
What's up, FHS? We're here at Crystal and Riches to get what we need to make our ratatouille. And shout out to them for letting us record.
And now, let's get what we need for ratatouille.
Red peppers, 2 red tomatoes, 1 yellow zucchini, red onion, green zucchini,
Olive oil, 1 liter tomato sauce.
some oregano.
We're here in Head Chef Chris Orr's kitchen, and now let's throw in those ingredients and see what we need.
First, you want to cut your vegetables and place them to the side after you're done. Next, what you want to do is put some cooking spray in your pan. And of course, add your sauce. Now, you want to start layering your vegetables, starting in a clockwise rotation, and make sure you start in the center.
Now, preheat the oven to 350.
Now, you bake in the oven for 45 minutes. And see you then. And once your ratatouille is done, you take it out of the oven. Smells good. Yeah.
That's it for this episode of What's Cookin'.
And tune in next time where we make.
Thanks, guys. That's all we have for you today.
Once again, good luck to our cross-country teams at state this week. We will see you next week on the next.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
We're not done here.
We have one more thing. Christian Campbell, can you please come here? Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell, can you please come here? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Campbell.
Mr. Campbell, get in here.
Happy birthday to you.
Get in here,
Campbell.
Get out,
Campbell.
Eat some
Yeah, get him.
All right, now.
Check out our Instagram.
Thank you. Check out the Instagram. We got some birthday cards for Campbell. Everyone have a great rest of their day.
That's it for